Keep up to date with the latest news and information from Propertymark.
Welcome to Propertymark Pulse, the news update for those who live and breathe the property sector. Now, as we firmly head into the autumn months, things just keep happening at pace. And that's no bad thing, as housing is one of the very few subjects that truly does affect absolutely everyone in one way or another. So this week saw the Scottish Government publish their Housing Emergency Action Plan. We also look at rumours that national insurance could be applied to rental incomes. We'll look at what happens next regarding the Renters' Rights Bill. In addition, we'll also look at the latest HMRC figures regarding the number of property transactions completed, and we'll check in with how things are looking in the auctions profession in terms of performance.
We are Propertymark.
So across the last 12 months especially, we have seen constant news coverage regarding housing across the entire of Scotland, with many councils declaring their current situations as at near breaking point. Now this week we have been handed the Scottish Government's Housing Emergency Action Plan. So what does this include? Well, first and foremost, there is a commitment to invest up to £4.9 billion over the next 4 years to deliver around about 36,000 affordable new homes. It also plans to double investment in acquisitions this year to around £80 million, which would help take between 600 and 800 children out of temporary accommodation. In addition, there is a plan to implement AWAB's law from March 2026. That is subject to parliamentary approval to ensure that all landlords address hazardous issues to all tenants. We'll be keeping a really close eye on this as the months progress.
Propertymark.
So, hot off the back of rumours a few weeks ago of potential changes to stamp duty for those in England and Northern Ireland, we're now hearing the Chancellor may be considering adding national insurance to rental income. Now, as you can likely imagine, the initial reception of this idea has not been overly positive at all. Now, although no two situations are ever precisely the same, breaking down a typical scenario, this proposal has the potential to add around about £1,000 a year to the burden of a landlord renting out an average price property. So what does that mean if it does go ahead? We'd be really interested in your thoughts. Is this a burden that may end up getting passed on to tenants? Would landlords potentially look to absorb such a sum of money per property rented out? Drop us a line at studio@propertymark.co.uk.
We are Propertymark.
So little over a year ago, no one had even uttered the words Renters' Rights Bill, and now we are closing in on the very final steps before the proposed legislation actually becomes law. So just before the summer recess, we saw the bill make its way through the third reading within the House of Lords, and then the pause button was hit across the summer months. Now the unpause button is about to be pressed, and we move towards the stage which is officially called a consideration of Lords amendments, however more affectionately known as the ping pong stage. So what happens here then? Well, this is part of the process that really fine-tunes and challenges aspects that the House of Lords have discussed and agreed upon, subjects such as renting with pets, the relet clause should a rental property be placed for sale, notice of entry for a property for enforcement purposes, plus many more which you can find online at propertymark.co.uk. Once both houses have agreed, the proposed bill will receive royal assent and then be implemented and of course must be followed. However, there is the party conference recess, so no sooner do we start, we'll likely be again on pause between the 16th of September and the 13th of October as party conferences take place. You can find more comprehensive details online at propertymark.co.uk.
Propertymark.
We recently saw HMRC release their latest numbers regarding the magnitude of property transactions completed in July, and despite the fact the wider economy remains pretty fragile in many ways, month on month the numbers went up and year on year the numbers also went up. So in July 2025 there were 95,580 transactions, and that's a 4% uplift versus July 2024. It's a robust sign that many consumers are feeling more confident in their personal finances, and with recent base rate cuts last month, and with a little bit of luck, this will hopefully translate into a raft of more competitive mortgage deals coming to the fold. We'll keep a super close check on this as the months pass. So the latest numbers are out from EIG, which shows strong growth within the auctioneering profession, especially powered by residential sales making their way through the auctions process. There is still, however, caution from investors regarding commercial sales, very much influenced with a long-term slowdown related to retail space. However, as many town and city centres embark on redevelopment, there is scope to see new progress and pace certainly pick back up. We'll keep you fully updated and also keep a close eye on things as they develop.
For more details, check propertymark.co.uk. propertymark.co.uk.
As always, it's great when you get in touch. It's all about the conversation and what you are passionate about within the industry. Always feel free to drop us a line at studio@propertymark.co.uk. And before I head off, just a few things to be aware of. Firstly, we're back in Bristol on the 11th of September for our next regional conference in association with Rightmove. Then it's to Manchester on the 16th of September. You can get full details and book your place at propertymark.co.uk. And the 8th of September, well, it sees the final steps kick in for the Renters' Rights Bill, and we'll keep you fully up to date on all things as they develop. As always, it's good to have you listening, and we'll catch you again on the 19th of September.